everyone, I'm Kristina, your sommelier and the manager here at Hillebrand Winery, and I'm going to teach you a few lessons about decanting. Decanting is something that is very, very common in the wine world, but most of us don't actually decant our wines. And there's many reasons to decant, three main reasons, which I'm going to take you through. First of all, when it comes to wine, we've got a beautiful red wine here from 2008. Right now it's 2011, so it's a couple of years old, and with a red like Bordeaux, which is a Merlot here, big tannic style wine, we do want to decant this wine for age, and that's the one reason and one example how to decant a wine is to age it. So they say that when you are using a decanter, what you want to go with is a decanter that has this kind of shape. The reason is when we're going to pour this wine into the decanter, it has a very, very large surface area. It's quite broad at the base, and that's really going to spread the wine out to a really high degree, which is really important because we want oxygen to hit all points of the wine, and the more you spread out the liquid of the wine, the more that oxygen is going to hit it and therefore age your wine further. You're going to have a nice clean decanter, you know, it's been cleaned and dried. However, there tends to be sometimes a bit of, you know, maybe a touch of dust or maybe that hint of water in there, and you actually want to season your decanter as well to get it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to add actually just a little bit of wine. And what we're going to do is season it with the wine itself. What that's going to do is it's actually going to remove any particles that may be still in the decanter. And as well, what it will do is it's also going to season the wine with the aroma of the wine as it is. So it's actually going to just get the decanter primed, ready to go, and at that point you're ready to start decanting. We've got a beautiful filter here, many different sizes and shapes that you can buy. This one here fits beautifully in this decanter. What it allows is the wine to enter the decanter in a very soft way. This is going to delicately bring the wine through. Now as you can see, it's really spreading out the liquid of that wine, and the more I would pour it in, the more it's going to spread that out. They say that in a decanter like this, about 1 hour in this decanter is about a year in your cellar. So if you wanted to age this wine for another 5 years, what you can do is when you get home from work, pour your wine in the decanter, you know, sit, relax, start making dinner. By the time dinner's ready, usually your wine is ready as well. So 1 hour, 1 year is usually the equivalency, and it's really great for any young reds that you may have, or even if you have some young whites, like I would suggest maybe a Chardonnay, possibly a Riesling as well. Those can do very well for aging. Another way we can decant wine, you'll see decanters like this out there on the market, and you can see already it's quite narrow. It's a little bit more narrow than the first one that we saw. This is another reason to decant, and instead of aging the wine, what we're going to do is possibly bring it up to a different temperature, because when you pull a wine out of your cellar, you know, my cellar is quite cold right now, so sometimes when I'm pulling my red wine out, it's a little bit too cold, and I may not want to serve it at that temperature. So by pouring my wine into this decanter here, again, I'm just slowly thinning out the wine as it's pouring in. And it's not going to spread out the surface area, you can see, as much, so it's really not going to age your wine dramatically. But what it's going to do by thinning it out and moving it around, it's going to bring it to that ideal 18-degree Celsius temperature that we want the wine to be served at. As well, sometimes if the wine was an older wine, perhaps maybe it was a 2004 or 2002, you may still want to just move the wine around a little bit just to wake it up, because at that point the wine had been sleeping for so long and it really would need a little bit of movement just to kind of wake it up and do that. So that's another reason why to decant, is maybe just to kind of wake it up just slightly or to affect the temperature. This, you can see, is a very interesting contraption here. Another reason to decant a wine is for filtration. If you have any wine that is unfiltered, perhaps, or if you have a very old wine, sometimes a lot of old red wines will develop a lot of sediment in the bottom, and although they're very, very safe to drink, some people don't find them too exciting to have in their glass. So what you would use is this thing here, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut the neck of this label right off. And so I'm just going to take my blade here, just cutting along there and removing the neck there. The reason we're doing this is we're going to need to look through the neck of that wine. You're going to cradle the wine into this here, and what I would do is I would actually light a candle here. You don't obviously want to warm up the wine too much, and you can affect here how high you want that wine to be to keep away from the heat. But what's really important is as I'm decanting and pouring the wine out, I'm going to be looking over top of that candle for sediment. And once it's pouring out of the bottle, by the time we reach the end of that liquid there, you're going to start to see sediment coming through the neck, and at that point I would stop decanting. If you're just starting with decanting, by all means, most of us drink our red wines too young anyway. I would certainly recommend this decanter here. It's wonderful for so many purposes. You can use it for most of your red wines. Most of us, myself included, will buy our wines and usually drink them within a few days. But if you can, try to put them in a decanter, because you're going to age that wine, you're going to soften the tannins, and that's really going to make the wine the ideal drinking point. However, there's many, many decanters. Whichever one suits you most is always best. And nowadays they're coming out with really great designs, more and more interesting things. So please always ask. If you come to the winery, ask one of us. We're more than happy to help you choose the decanter that's right for you.